Hey all, welcome back to another modded Minecraft video. This is My World Garden of Glass. It's the Botania Garden of Glass mod with most of the mods that I use in the My World pack. Of course, minus a few that just don't make sense in a skyblock sort of thing. Remove Mistcraft, remove Tinker's Construct, removed the Mining World. Remove some other stuff, but you get the gist. A lot of it's still the same, except for what would allow us to go elsewhere. But today, what we're going to cover is a couple things. One, I finished the cake factory, and second, I talked about we were going to make a power flower. That's what this thing is right here. Now, this is an MK2, the second level, which means it's using the Mark II versions of the collector, condenser, and what's the other thing? Relay. And so that's what this little gadget is right here. And what it does is passively collects energy and converts, using the condenser, that energy into whatever we have in the target block right here, which is dark matter. This is a Mark II, and it's actually slower than our mob spawner, which has been updated since last episode. You can see it's not too much faster, but it is faster. They've been running pretty much dark matter the same amount of time, and you can see this one's a little bit higher. And that's because this is a dark cursed earth spawner now, and I actually have a skeleton spawner that I pulled out of the nether from there, and our blaze spawner is in here. This one does have a horde and speed upgrade on it. I am trying to collect bones right here, mainly because I want to try to get a better wheat production than I've got right now. So I'm going to do an on-demand farm. Not this episode, but I'm working on it. You can see I got about 106 stacks of bones in there, so that'll be quite a few bone meal. But if you've never messed around with the power flower before, it requires three things from Project E, and that's your energy collector, your antimatter relay, and a condenser. The condenser is what actually makes the items. It's a chest. You know, if you just put stuff in here and you don't have any target, it's just a chest. But if you have a target in here, let's say we put a diamond in there, any item I throw in here will then convert that EMC, will start building up until it's able to collect enough EMC to create the new item. Okay, that's an energy condenser. There's two versions of this. This is the MK1, or just a regular energy condenser. There's no real MK1. And then the MK2, which is a much faster version. If you're going to do like a cobblestone gen, you're going to want to use the MK2. This will not be fast enough. Then you're going to have your relay. Your relay is going to go between the collector and your condenser. The relay basically allows you to take the power from the collector and then send it into the condenser. So if we were like put a cobblestone in there, it would start using that power to make something. Okay, you can see just real quick, it made a bunch of crap that we don't need. But what you're going to do with your relays is you're going to put a relay on every side that touches. You're going to put a relay on every side of the condenser. Okay, every side except for the bottom. And the reason you don't put it on the bottom is that's where you're going to access it. I suppose you could put one here and close it off, but yeah, it's just, it doesn't really help you to do that, so I wouldn't really worry about it too much. But then you need to make sure that, if I can fly, that each one of these sides with the little white circle has a piece of glowstone on top of it to make sure that it works at night also. Now, this is the MK2 version, which is the one upgrade from the MK1s. Now, if you've never used Project E before, the collector is not just for... It's solar flowers like this. They have another purpose, and that's to upgrade your fuel sources. So you can see, like right now, it's collecting energy. So let's say, and I don't have any on me. Let's excuse me. Let's run over here and grab say charcoal. Okay, we just grab a charcoal out of here. Now what the collector will do, and all three versions, of course, it gets better and faster with each one, but you could do this, really step it up. But let's say you just want 10 of these things, you want to be able to upgrade your fuel. You take like a coal or a charcoal, and if you want it to stop at a certain level, like this will go all the way up to the Eternius fuel. But let's say you want it to stop at redstone. You could put a piece of redstone right here in its target area, and that's where it will stop its conversion. But if not, you're going to put it in there, and it's going to convert it up. Like it went all the way, I don't know if you saw how quick it went, but it went from charcoal to redstone right into gunpowder. So you went from 32 EMC up to 192, but it's a much better fuel source. Anything that requires a fuel source, like some of the Project E tools. But that's what this will do, and you can see it's about to convert it up again. What will it turn into this time? See it turn it into glowstone. So it'll keep doing that. It'll just keep converting it up, or stop whatever target you've got it at. So that is kind of the solar flower, or power flower, whatever you want to call that. Honestly, this is faster. If I were to double this thing, if I were to take this and then double it out over here and do another one going in here, it would probably be even faster than the Mark III. But like I always say, this mod came out when you really couldn't move spawners. You had to just use spawners that were in the world. I think when it really kind of started becoming uber cheaty was when Soul Sharks first came out. Which, funny enough, I think the original one was made by Pahimar, which was the guy that took over and made, I think it was EE3 back in or EE2, whatever the second version of Equipment Exchange was. But over here is our cake factory. Here's our farms. We've got just a Project E sugarcane farm here. You can see this is way, way more efficient than our Botania one, of course. So we can just turn that off for a second. And that's just a dark matter pedestal with a growth goddess band on there, and that will rock that out. We have about 170 chickens over there popping out eggs for us. Excuse me. No frog in the throat there. And then, of course, I have an energy condenser just dealing with the feathers. I don't want to waste them. Because I want to say they're like 70 some odd EMC a piece or something like that. And then here, the better way to do this would, of course, would have been to make a Project E farm here, kind of like I did in My World 1. It would have been a lot faster. But I wanted to show that you could, of course, do this with Botania. So we have, a dispenser wheat farm with a piston farming mechanism. And then we're using the lily pads of fertility from Reliquary and the floating agricarnations. So we've got a bunch of those and a bunch of those. So it's farming about every 2 minutes or so, the crop. Probably could have made it a little bit bigger, but I didn't want to have to make the platform any bigger, so I kind of left it at that. But each one of those is going into a B-Space Java barrel. And if you don't know what B-Space is, it just means that it's two barrels are linked together, kind of like an ender chest. So the collecting barrels are there, and then our other barrels are inside. And then we got Mr. Moo Cow back here. He's providing us with milk. But the first part that we need is, of course, sugar. So we're taking all the sugar cane. It comes out of there. And using the extra utilities kind of auto-crafting, we have it come through here. It's turned into, or the sugar cane goes down into here, and it's turned into sugar cane, which is also linked with this barrel. And behind each one of these barrels is a retrieval node that's specifically set to the item it needs in the recipe. So if you look at these 9 barrels or chests right here, these are each a slot in a crafting grid. Okay, if you're looking at a crafting grid, this is the uppermost chest, the uppermost middle chest, etc., etc. So in this one, the top 3, of course, is all milk. And then we have our sugar, egg, and sugar. And then the bottom one is all wheat. That, of course, is our cake recipe. And I swear I thought cake stacked. But I must have pulled the mod out that made cake stack, because they don't stack. Which kind of sucks, because I was hoping this would be stacks of 16, but no. But the way this thing works is this thing is set to a world upgrade is what you need to make this crafting table. Pull from this crafting grid and then make the item. All right, so that gives us our cakes. That's how that works. Then up here, once this milk is used, it leaves an empty bucket. So you can see this piping goes all the way over here to this retrieval node, and it is set to an empty bucket. So what it's doing is it's looking at these 3 chests for an empty bucket, and then it pulls it back over here and pops it into this chest, which then I probably could have just bypassed this, honestly. I could have bypassed this chest and just stuck it right in here into the dispenser, or I'm sorry, the dropper, but yeah, one way or the other, it gets there. So all the empty buckets come in here. This pulls out only empty buckets, which then goes in this dropper. There is a comparator right here that as long as this thing is empty, it doesn't put out a signal. So there's no redstone signal coming over here. This inverter keeps this timer turned off, so nothing fires. This doesn't fire, and the redstone spreader down here does not fire. Now, as soon as we get a bucket in here, do I have any? I don't. If we had an empty bucket, you put it in there, it would activate this comparator, which would then turn on this strip, which would turn off this strip, which would turn on the timer. So every 2 seconds, then it will start dumping a bucket down in here, and then as soon as this drops, this will fire off and give us a bucket. And then this thing will pick it up and put it into our barrel. Now, even though this is a really big barrel, it only holds 64 stacks, and that's 64 buckets, which kind of sucks. Now, you can see how many of these hold. 1,792 stacks. This only holds 64 buckets, which kind of sucks. I guess because milk don't stack neither. Damn it, where's my lighter? So that's how all this gets done and finished over here. Did I miss anything? Any questions on how this works? It's really, really, really simple. The auto milking thing is just one part, and it's kind of all tied in, but the real factory is right here. This is your auto crafting. Now, the reason I went with this over using Botania or one of the auto crafting benches that we have is this is actually much faster. With speed upgrades, I can kick out cakes really, really fast. And, at first you got to let everything fill up, but after that, it's going to scream making cakes as it needs them. So, and I probably will not completely replace all the mana generation that we have down there. I'll probably just supplement it with a couple more of these to start anyways. Not sure, but I know damn hiccups. One of the things that I need to do is I need to get mana from over there to over here onto this platform. And what we'll probably end up doing is make a minecart refill station like over here, and then bring it up and get it to fill this one, and then come underneath and come over here and then fill this one. Probably. I'm not sure if I'm not really going to be able to move that because I need that there so I can trigger that. Yeah, so I may have to come from underneath I'm not sure. I haven't thought that far ahead. I do know I need to get mana over here. This is not a big mana drawer. I mean, it doesn't take a ton. Um, you can see this is all that's gone out of a full pool, and that was after filling up these 3 chests and what's in here right now. So actually more than that, because I added a little bit of testing I had to do too. So that one's not a huge draw, and neither is this one. This one has actually been going since this farm started, and you can see it's only used half a pull, and that thing has been running for quite a while. Quite a while that one's been running. These farms were done long before I built this building or put all this together. So this was actually up to 180, something like that, before it pulled everything out and stuck it into all these chests and made some cakes. So it's not like a huge amount of mana. We could probably get away with just bringing mana pools over here, but that's no fun. That's no fun. We can just, we can do that, I think. It's just, like I said, refill station and bring it up over here, and then bring it up over there. But really don't have time to get started. I don't want a really super long episode, but we do have our cake factory going now. The first thing I'm going to worry about before I start putting up the mana stations is getting that mana around. So that's probably going to be the first thing. But real quick before we finish up, we'll show you that we got the Origin back. Kind of our little ore farm. This thing is really, really laggy though. I think it's because of the falling ore, you know, because when it comes out of here, it's hit by the gravity lits. Excuse me, boy. Well, that came out of nowhere. Hope I can edit that out, or at least turn that volume down. But a little bit of lag right there. So I leave it off most of the time, unless I'm going to go AFK or something. I just leave it off. Because I don't know why, but it really, I mean, I can physically feel it when this thing is running. And that's just kind of annoying. But all that gets dropped into an ender chest, and that ender chest comes over to here. And then that goes down into our better furnace. We have an extreme furnace here, which is the top tier. And inside you can see we have a factory upgrade that allows us to say the input and output direction, and then the direction that the fuel comes in. So with the factory upgrade, it's telling it it's accepting input from the top. That's where we know the ores are coming from. It's outputting it to the left. This is where our ores go. And then the fuel all comes from this side. And you get enough coal to easily take care of your fuel consumption. And the upgrades that we have in it, and this one is the advanced ore processing upgrade. That's the one that doubles your ore. And the advanced one does not take damage, whereas just the ore processing upgrade will take damage over time and will break. The same with the fuel efficiency upgrade, and these stack. So you'll notice there's 2 in there and then 3 in here. So there's 5 all together. I could put another upgrade package in this one and add another 2, but honestly, with 5 in there, this thing barely uses fuel. At least not enough to worry about it. You're getting more than enough return off of your fuel investment. Okay, I was hearing something clacking around. I noticed, yeah, what the hell? See, I don't know what this is. I don't know where these guys are coming from that are falling over here. And I get baby zombies like all the frickin' time. It is really annoying. They come, you don't really see them like spawn, you just see like their head and they come charging you. But now they can't get into this room over here because I have an interdiction torch over both of the doors, and this kind of builds it doesn't keep them from spawning, but it's a force field. So if they do spawn, they're pushed outside. You'll come in this room a lot of time and there's a zombie in one of these 2 corners. They can't get to you, but they're there. At least they're not a skeleton shooting you. So we have our cake farm done, cake factory done, cake farm, cake factory. Now, like I said, I do want to supplement this a little bit with a bone meal farm. I'll probably get that going between this episode next. And I want to get mana moving from over there to over here. And probably I'll have it set up with at least one or two Kekamura stations by then also. No telling. Some of this we may do in videos, some of it may not. So I appreciate you guys coming by. This is just another update on our Garden of Glass. And until next time, I will see y'all later.